Seattle's a great city. We got everything here. Coffee, good music scene, trees, ocean, coffee, art, coffee. Things are normally pretty quiet, except this time of year. Sometimes it gets a little crazy. We got the LG Action Sports World Championships in town, and it's usually a bunch of good kids, you know, having good fun.
Attention all units, there's 540 in progress at the Seattle Center.
Car 44 on its way. This is where it's gonna get fun.
Welcome to Seattle. It's the 2008 LG Action Sports World Championships. Hello, everyone. I'm inside Key Arena. I'm Jimmy Coleman, standing alongside Paul Zitzer here. In this show, we're going to see Skateboard Vert, and the big story this year, Pierre-Luc Gagnon. He's our first-place qualifier, and the guy has been on a roll this year and won every major event.
He's been killing it, absolutely. He's going to be hard to beat, but it's a pro contest. Best riders in the world are here. Of course, we have Bucky Lasek. It'll be interesting to see how he does. He's been struggling a little bit, you know, the last few contests. Sandro Dias, he's been ripping as usual. Huge airs we're going to see out of him. Alex Perelson, the young gun, and I think Danny Mayer might give this contest a good run for its money.
Yeah, and Bucky and Sandro are both former LG Action Sports World Champions of this event. We've also got a format change this year, switching it up a little bit. In the past, we've done 2 45-second runs, best run counts. Now you get, I believe it's 5 runs, you get 10 wall runs.
Yeah, and that kind of changes everything. First of all, you know, the people who are comfortable with setup tricks, those are gone. There's no time for setups. You have 10 walls, you got to come out swinging, hammering them out. I think, of course, PLG is going to be really hard to beat in that circumstance.
Taking out the filler tricks, and that's the other thing about it is you fall, you're out. There is no getting back up and finishing the run. You fall, you are done. So that's how it's going to play out. Let's get right to it.
I don't know about you, Paul, but I'm a big fan of the format change. I think it gives these guys the ability to go out there and really lay it on the line. You don't have to throw down a safety run. You just get out there and just go for it.
It is very exciting, but sometimes these guys can really struggle to stay on because they're trying to pack so many tricks in such a short amount of time.
Buster Halterman first in it. Did you see the size of that backside Stalefish 540? That had to be a good 6.5 feet out, and Buster, usually very consistent. He goes down on the kickflip varial here. Tough break for Buster Halterman.
That's what I'm talking about. You know, trying to do trick after trick. It can catch up to you. If things start to go wrong, boom, you're off your board. There you see the varial kickflip Indy. He reaches down. The board bounces off of his thumb. And he's going to have to look to his next runs.
So 37.50 for Buster Halterman, first time out. But again, it's 5 runs, best run count, so he's got 4 more shots at it. Speaking of consistency, Andy McDonald's set to take his first of 5, and this guy's usually on his A game when it comes to competitions.
And consistency really doesn't matter as much in this contest because you only have to stay on 1 run out of the 5. That's what you're looking for, is 1 good score. So a bunch of runs aren't really going to help. Andy's notorious for just staying on run after run. Here you see him doing it, no problem here. Trick after trick, little front side air setup going into the air to fakie. Big 720. Nicely done, and that's going to do it. 10 walls for Andy. That is a great start.
I was just going to say the 720. He's got a brand new one for 2008, and there it was, the 720.
Yeah, in the past, he's had that trick, but just not consistent enough to put in his runs. And this year, he's been throwing it down. Look at that, no problem there. Textbook. Great way to finish the run.
Kind of traveled a little bit of distance on that one. He almost carved that one a little bit. First run score, Little low though, 78.50. So Andy McDonald sitting on top of things here.
The judges are going to be a little conservative in their scores at the start because they're going to expect to see better and better runs over the course of this contest, and that's when they'll start to give out the really high scores.
Alex Perelson coming down the rolling with a big Indy 540. This guy's really been rising through the ranks, but I was just going to say, as he goes down right there, he's had some problems with being able to put it together in pressure situations.
Yeah, he's winning practice. You watch him skate practice, and you're blown away at how good and how consistent he is. And then put the pressure on him of the actual runs. He's been having a bit of a problem with it this year.
Well, he podiumed at this event last year and walks away with a very low score. Only got one wall down. So again, 5 runs, best run counts. He's got 4 more shots at it. Danny Mayer set to take his first run, and I've really been impressed with the way Danny's been skating this season.
Yeah, he's come into things with sort of a strategy this year, where in the past he would just go out and try to win with every run, go for his best run ever. But now he's sort of playing it cool, being smart, and putting in runs that he knows he can do. But this is a great run. Look, alley-oop, kickflip melon into a backside 3. Look at the size of that fakie-to-fakie 540. Really solid run from Mayer.
It was a good save on the alley-oop kickflip backside, because he sketched pretty hard in the flat bottom and managed to save that one. Wraps it up with a backside lip slide revert. Solid run for Danny Mayer.
Here you see another look at that fakie-to-fakie 540. He does them higher than anyone. That is such a hard trick to do. And finishing with a backside lip slide revert. You don't see that many lip tricks these days, but that is a proper way to finish a run. Very difficult lip trick.
So Danny Mayer, first run out, scores himself an 83 flat, and that's going to bring up Bucky Lasek.
Last contest, I kind of bombed. I was ahead in points, and then I ended up in 4th overall, and I got dead last. It's my 3rd DFL ever, so I'm looking for some redemption.
Yeah, Bucky definitely having a bit of a rough season. A little bit of injury been playing into some of that throughout the course of the 2008 season. But here we go, first of 5 runs for him coming down the roll in big kickflip Indy.
But you know, Bucky talks about getting dead last, but that's dead last in the finals. He makes every cut. He's still an amazing skater, doing well, but if he's not winning, then he's not having a great year. So there's a little bit of a different standard with Bucky.
Well, we talked about Andy McDonald in the 720. Bucky's been working on the 720 as well for this season, so we could see that out of him here. There's a switch front side 540.
And that was an amazing first run. Look at that. That was after time. Backside nose blunt. Bucky is so good, and he has so many tricks. It's amazing. Look at that front side 540. He has that trick better than just about anyone in the business. Going straight into the backside grab 540, and there's his signature frontside heel flip gay twist. I can't believe he can put that in runs.
A very solid run, and look at that score. He's in the lead. Still to come, though, last year's champ, PLG, who's on the deck right now with our sideline reporter, Catfish.
We're on the deck with Pierre-Luc Gagnon. Pierre, you won this thing last year, looking to do it again.
Yeah, it's a different format. It's a 10-wall format instead of 3 45-second runs, so it's going to be a whole different contest. Maybe less setup tricks, a lot more intense runs, like back-to-back combos.
This has been your year. This is one of the last big contests of the year. What would a win here mean for you?
I mean, it'd be a great way to end the year. It's always great to end the year on a positive note.
He's last year's champ and our top qualifier. We'll see his run and more when we come back to the Key Arena. The LG Action Sports World Championships is brought to you by LG Life's Good, by Maxell, official sponsor of the Action Sports World Tour, by NPPL Championship Paintball 2009, BBSting.com, and by BFD.com. The biggest names in action sports are at BFD.com.
What's going on?
It's crazy.
Yeah, whatever.
What's up? I don't think either one of you was giving it your all in there. That's why I pulled you out of there. This is the World Championships. You just can't be phoning it in like that. How's this sound? How about I call my mom up? You guys like pizza bagels? I've got a really nice 60-foot vert ramp in my house. We'll invite some friends over. I could show you guys a few tricks on how I think you ought to be doing it, and maybe you could give some pointers to me and some of my friends on the force. Mom, hi, yeah, it's me. It's on. This is gonna be great.
We are back inside Key Arena for the conclusion of round 1 of the Skateboard Vert Final. If you're just joining us, 5 runs, best run counts. Instead of the traditional 45-second runs, it's 10 walls. And Sandro Dias set to come down the roll-in for his first run. And he's got the skills to do it, Paul. He won this thing in 2004, but he's had some issues being able to hold it together.
And it's understandable why he'd have trouble. Look at how high he goes. Most of the guys on the ramp can't physically go that high, much less do tricks at that altitude. So you see him struggling there on the heel flip, but he has 4 more runs to make it right.
That's kind of been the way it's been for him on this tour all season long. Gets about 5, 6, 7 walls in and then loses the board.
Yeah, there's that heel flip, going for the mute grab. Board did not flip quick enough, and there's only so much you can do about it at that point.
Sandro with a score down in the 50s, gonna have to throw that one out, and we will see him a little bit further down the line as we get into the latter runs. That's gonna bring up the heavy favorite, PLG. We talked about it at the top of the show. The guy has been on an absolute tear in 2008. He won the Dew Cup. He won the X Games. He got first place at the Maloof Money Cup. He's last year's champion of the LG Action Sports World Championships. Can anyone take him down here in Seattle?
It's been amazing this year. You know, won the X Games, won the Maloof Money Cup, and been doing pretty good at the Dew Tour. Definitely can't complain. I'm just trying to keep it going.
PLG, I don't know, he's so gnarly, he's like a machine, you know. Every day he's on point, he makes everything, he almost makes every one of his runs at every contest. If you're like me and you're trying to get out, you know, I've been doing pretty good at the end of the year, and it's like I want to get a first really bad, you know, but it's so hard to beat him.
He's also got himself a win earlier this season on the Action Sports World Tour in Cincinnati, Ohio, and here we go for his first of 5.
And we've talked about how the format change can affect people's scores and the way they have to skate. It really doesn't have any effect whatsoever on PLG because he really can do it all. He has no problem going trick to trick. He has so many tricks like that. Backside grab 720, right into a kickflip mute fakie, and then the switch heel flip frontside air 360. He's just keeping it going and going. Backside nollie 360 Indy. Oh, that is a first place run for sure. It'll be interesting to see if anybody can beat that run in the rest of this event.
I was going to say, when we used to do 45-second runs, the guy had no problem putting it together with plenty of big banger tricks. So with a 10-wall format, he could just pick and choose.
And he has no problem going extremely high and doing the most technical tricks like that switch heel flip 3. Just an incredible trick to be able to put in his run. And look at his back foot on that 720, coming almost all the way off the board, but he brings it back around and then just keeps it coming.
I didn't notice that at real-time speed, but he was basically hanging on with his heel only on the back foot on that backside 7. And look at that, first guy we've seen score in the 90s. Getting a little appreciation from Chris Gentry there. 92.50. Taking a look at the Paul Mitchell leaderboard after round 1. Last year's champ poised to take another win here. Bucky Lasek and Danny Mayer, though, nipping on his heels. Keep in mind, we've got 4 more runs, so we can see this leaderboard move around quite a bit. Right now, we're going to take a timeout from competition and check in with rookie pro Adam Taylor, who didn't make the cut here for the finals, but he's going to be this week's LG Trictionary and talk us through the finer points of a frontside tail grab gate twist.
Hi, I'm Adam Taylor, and for my Trictionary, we're going to be doing frontside gate twist tail grab. To do this trick, you have to go up fakie, so a good way to set up for it is an air to fakie. You pop fakie and rotate frontside 360 degrees, but halfway through the rotation, you grab the tail, which helps with the rest of the rotation. Once you grab the tail, you can start looking at your landing. See if you're at the right distance on the ramp and the right body angle to land it. This trick took me a long time to learn. It sounds a lot easier than it is. And that's how you do a frontside gate twist tail grab for your Trictionary.
You can see more Trictionaries as well as behind-the-scenes footage on the top pros, video clips from the biggest events, the craziest tricks, and the biggest wrecks, all at BFD.com. We are back to the competition. Round number 2, Buster Halterman. You see that first run score. He had about, if memory serves, he had about 4 walls in, and then he ended up going down on a kickflip varial. So he's definitely looking to bump it up here in round number 2. And again, he rolls in. I think that one was even bigger than the last time around, Paul, with the Stalefish backside 5.
It's really unbelievable. There are very few people in the world who have ever done Stalefish 540s, much less at that height. And again, Buster going down on the heel flip. You see he's smiling, but he's not too happy about falling on that trick. But there's that Stalefish 540. Incredible. Alley-oop heel flip Indy. His board does not flip at all. He still tries to salvage it. But once your feet are off the board and your board doesn't do what you intended it to do, it's over.
That's 2 runs in a row down in the 30s, so the pressure on a little bit here in the second round for Buster Halterman. Andy McDonald, he had a solid first run. I felt the score was a little low, so we'll see how Andy changes up the line here in round 2.
I'm confident that he'll be able to stay on a few more runs, though, and improve on that score. You see him doing a varial 540, such a hard trick. Nollie frontside 540. He has one of the deepest bags of tricks of anyone on the ramp. Lean frontside 540, setting up again for the 720. Oh, Stixie getting a little sloppy on that landing, coming back with a Madonna, mixing it up. Another perfect run for Andy.
And again, when you look at him do the 720, he carves that one as he's coming up backwards. He travels almost a sheet and a half of skate light across the ramp. I don't see too many people do that on 720s. Usually you go in straight up, come straight down.
There's another look at the varial 540. Turning the board 180 degrees under his feet. And here's another look at the 720. Barely getting this one all the way around, almost sliding the last few degrees in, but he stays on and he's looking good.
Well, he bested his first run score, not by much, but it was an improvement, so he jumps up into the 80s with that one. Alex Perelson, you see that first run score? He did 1 trick his first time out, bailed on the second wall, and again, pressure seems to be a bit of an issue for this young man when it comes to competitions.
But look at the start of this run. Indy 540 straight into a kickflip lean melon in the rafters. I mean, look at how big he's going. And the board gets away from him on a 720. I think that's one of the easier tricks in his run. It's unfortunate.
Well, you mentioned it earlier, he wins practice, but I think he's his own worst enemy because he just gets so frustrated and he can't pull himself out of it for the next run. He just gets so down on himself, and I think that mentality carries over throughout the entire comp. So another tough break there for Alex Perelson. He does get quite a bit of an improvement, though, but he needs a lot more than that. Danny Mayer looking pretty solid after his first outing. However, we did not see the kickflip McTwist. Now that he's got 1 run under his belt, now he's got 4 more shots to try to throw that one in.
And he has become so consistent with that kickflip McTwist, it's unbelievable. He's really the only, there it is.
Wow, first try, and he got a good clean landing out of it and gets a backside 5 out of it as well.
Tony Hawk is the only other person in the world to have ever done a kickflip McTwist, and to see it going down in the middle of his run, wow. And he finishes again with the backside lip slide revert. Another perfect run for Danny Mayer. That's great to see.
That's the kind of thing you see in a best trick competition. Danny's been throwing this into his judged contest runs with regularity over the last 2 years.
Look at how much is going on in that trick. The board is flipping. He's spinning, he's upside down, he grabs it on his feet, spots the landing. That is too much, and then follows it up with a backside grab 540.
Yeah, again, in the past, when you see him do that trick, he usually gets out or he'll do a setup trick coming out of it, but now he's doing 540s out of it.
He is gonna have a huge score on this run for sure.
And again, with the backside lip slide revert, whoa, check it out, 90.25. He's jumped up into the 90s, and he's nipping at Pierre's heels right now.
And the pressure is on for Bucky coming in with the nollie kickflip Indy. Risky first wall, but that's what you got to do when you're not in the lead.
And again, big frontside 540, just pointing the nose of the board on that one. Remember, he did a switch frontside 540 in his first run.
Setting up for something big here. 720 attempt. Not quite getting it around. We don't see a lot of 720s out of Bucky. As a matter of fact, I think he's only landed 1 720 in his life. He must be feeling the pressure if he's trying to put in his run at this point, this early in this event. There's another look. Just not quite getting the pop off the coping to get a quick rotation and coming up a little short.
He gets a crazy spin out of that. He gets almost inverted on that second rotation. It almost looks like a McTwist at one point. It's a crazy spin. So Bucky trying to lay it on the line there. Second run score with a 54 flat. So 2 down, 3 more to go for him. Sandro Dias, remember he lost the board on an alley-oop heel flip in his first run. We'll see if he can hold it together for 10 walls here.
And look at that, first wall way over the billboards. Second wall takes him down. It's a bummer.
When's the last time you've seen Sandro bail on a 360 varial in the middle of a comp run? Look at the size of that backside 540 that he rolled into.
I know, you do get used to seeing him just make these tricks, but anything at that height is it's impossible to say how hard that is because no one can go that high but Sandro.
There's just so much pressure when you pop off the lip of the ramp. It's so hard to try to hold onto that board. It just slips away from him. So pressure on for Bucky here as well as Sandro Dias. Thus far in the competition, Danny Mayer and PLG, the only 2 guys to score into the 90s. Pierre with a 92.50. That first run we saw to him was just ridiculous. You got a backside 720 out of him. You got the switch heel flip frontside reaver. What's he got? Oh, he drops into a 360 flip and gets a 720 out of it. You got to be kidding me.
See that? Oh, and then he just keeps it going, and then it catches up with him, and that's a tough break. It's okay. He's still in first place. He knows he has more runs. He is in the driver's seat, and he's trying the most difficult run imaginable.
Well, the difficulty level of that run and what we saw him in his first run, he's still frustrated. You can see that look at his face. He's smiling, but this guy's such a true competitor. He wants more out of that. He wants to get even higher scores than he had in his first run.
And you know, as difficult as that trick is, he makes it almost every time.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I've seen him bail that trick in a competition, but just fumbled the grab a little bit. So definitely going to throw this one out. The question is anyone going to be able to overtake his first run score of 92.50? Like you said earlier, Paul, he's in the driver's seat, but the guy is such a competitor. He wants more. We've completed 2 rounds out of 5, and after round 2, taking a look at the Paul Mitchell leaderboard, it is PLG sitting on top with that 92.50. Take a look, though, Danny Mayer's leapfrogged over Bucky Lasek and put himself into second place after pulling off that kickflip McTwist, and last year's silver medalist Alex Perelson sitting all the way down in 8th. Lots of things going on here in the LG Action Sports World Championships, and of course, in addition to all the competitions that we have, we also treat the fans as well as the athletes to live music. For the Skateboard Vert event, hip-hop recording artist The Game was on hand to deliver some tunes to the fans. Welcome back to the Emerald City, Seattle, Washington. We're inside Key Arena for the 2008 LG Action Sports World Championships of Skateboard Vert. 2 rounds out of 5 already in the books, and as of right now, as everyone would expect, it's PLG sitting in the lead with a 92.50. Round 3 set to start. Buster Halterman, he's had a rough go, Paul, in his first 2 runs.
Yeah, and you don't want to let that get into your head. You start to think, well, I got to make something. I got to stay on, and then, you know, put more pressure on yourself than need be. Buster looking good thus far. Coming in with a huge kickflip Indy, keeping it going. Indy 540. He does that trick so amazingly. And again, heel flip Indy takes him down. Oh, that's got to be frustrating.
Yeah, you got 5 runs. It's best run counts, but after falling on 2, which are easy tricks for Buster in his first 2 runs, it definitely starts to creep into your head. And now with it happening a 3rd time around, he's really got a bit of a mind game going on for rounds 4 and 5.
Yeah, he might want to take that trick out of his run altogether and just try to stick a whole line.
Just go behind the deck and take a timeout for that one there. So we'll see Buster in round 4. Andy McDonald, he bumped it up from run 1 to run 2, so we'll see what he does this time around. Andy's pretty methodical about his runs. He pretty much has a line. You'll see a couple of slight changes here and there as the contest progresses, so we'll see if he can move up again here in round 3.
Yeah, he tends to just add a little bit to each run. He doesn't get crazy and try to do a whole new run at all. Here you see with the nollie frontside 540. Air to fakie setting up for the 720. This time, not having the good luck as he had in his past 2 runs.
Well, that's the first fall we've seen out of Andy here in this competition.
There's another look, just missing the grab on that 720. He'll be back.
So So Andy's first fall of the event. He'll be throwing that score out. Still got runs 4 and 5 yet to come, and we talked about Buster having some issues with getting it done his first 2 runs. This young man, Alex Perelson, he has had the same problem, and you got to be wondering if the doubt is starting to creep into his head as well.
Alex is one of those guys that just, alley-oop kickflip mute, taking him out. I was going to say, he just doesn't seem that comfortable being in the spotlight. He's so good. I think he could win just about any contest if he can put it all together. You see him skating so good in practice, but things a lot of times don't pan out in the finals. There you see that kickflip mute taking him out this time.
He just gets so down on himself. I mentioned earlier, you can see the look on his face. He's so completely frustrated, and that's a bad place to be right now with 2 runs still to go. You got to get yourself out of that funk and figure out a way to get your head straight to come back for those last 2 runs. Danny Mayer on the opposite end of what I was just talking about. He's currently sitting in 2nd place, and the pressure is completely off for him. He got his solid run out of the way first round in, and then he pulls the kickflip McTwist in round 2. Will he build on that?
And from what we've seen from, the kickflip McTwist unfortunately takes him down in this run. What I was gonna say is, he is one of the few guys in the finals that can beat the run we've seen from Pierre thus far. If Danny puts together everything he wants to do, he can get a better score than what we've seen from Pierre.
He's also one of the few guys in the finals right now who doesn't have the pressure on right now. We've seen some tough breaks out of pretty much 3/4 of the field here. Pierre, obviously, in no pressure situation. He's on top of things. Bucky had a pretty solid first run score, 88.50. He's another guy, though, that we could see jump up there. If he gets down the run that he wants, he could give Pierre and Danny a run for the money.
Rolling once again straight into that nollie kickflip Indy. An incredibly hard trick to start the runoff. He makes it and then just keeps it going. Nice 360 Indy into the front side. Heel flip gay twist again. Setting up, I think, for a 720.
See if he can get this one around. Going grab it backside that time around.
Switching his grab up. That's tough. The one 720 we've seen from Bucky was an Indy grab. And then earlier today, we saw him try a mute grab and fall on that. Now you see him, I think he's feeling desperate, switching it up, trying anything to take Pierre out of that top spot.
And again, with that grab on the 720, he got inverted on that. You look at him on the 2nd rotation, his head's pointed down towards the flat bottom like a McTwist. So 3rd run score, like you said, Bucky feeling, looking like he's feeling desperate at this point, but if he gets that 720 down, it's gonna be huge. If he pulls that off, it'll be interesting to see how that impacts his score. Sandro, another guy feeling the pressure right now. He's had a tough go, 2 runs thus far. He needs a full 10 walls here to try to jump up into podium contention.
And even though it's only 10 walls, that is such a tall order because they have to be back-to-back-to-back tricks. And if something goes slightly wrong, like you saw him almost hang up on that 540, and he had so much trouble on the next wall. It's amazing he's still on his board right now, but he's turning it back up. Huge McTwist, 360 varial to fakie. Nice gay twist, body jar. Trying the Nar jar.
Last wall.
And that last wall is another Sandro Dias original. The 540 nose grab to tail. He's the only one in the world who can do that trick, and if he would have made it, that would have been huge. Here you see him setting up for it with a gay twist body jar, and here's the 540 variation of the same trick. 540 nose grab to tail. Unfortunately, he misses the tail.
And that back foot was floating around a little bit too. Just tail was a little too far away from the lip of the ramp there. So 76.75, so he was almost there. He got 9 walls down, so he's definitely looking a lot better than he was in rounds 1 and 2. After what we saw to PLG in his 2nd run, dropping into the 360 flip, following it up with a 720, what's coming our way now?
I don't know, but I tell you what, if he does make another run, whoa! Cab heel flip, sort of missing the flip, and he does a late hand flip to save it, and then, wow. Okay, falls on a 720. That's probably an after effect from a few walls earlier.
And you can see the frustration out of Pierre. I mean, the guy's still in first place, but like I said, he's such a true competitor. He knows he can do better than that, and he doesn't care that he's in first place. He wants to go out there and put down absolute perfection each and every time. Just a little under-rotated on the 720.
Because I think he could still be beat right now, but if he puts in a harder run, he may put himself out of reach.
Yeah, he wants a little breathing room, and as you see him walk off the flat bottom, you can see him going, hey, that's 2 720s I've fallen on now. We've got plenty more Skateboard Vert finals still to come. It runs 4-5 when we come back.
Like this?
Oh my God.
How was that? Like that? That was good. I mean, it felt good. I mean, was it all right?
Yeah,
was it good? I mean, you felt good. I mean, I could do it again. I could do it again if you want.
No, please. That's Officer D.R. Genzia having some fun outside the arena with Danny Mayer and Adam Taylor. Back inside the arena, though, we are kicking off round 4 of 5. Your eyes do not deceive you. That graphic did say that Buster Halterman's best run score thus 5 was a 37.50. He's had some problems hanging onto that board in the first 3 rounds.
And all he is looking to do here right now is to stay on. He gets past that crucial point in his run.
And as you say that, again with the kickflip varial.
Boy, that's tough. That's 4 runs in a row. Buster's gone down relatively early. And look, the Stalefish 540 isn't giving him any problems, but every flip trick he seems to be trying is going sour. Varial flip. Indy, once again, his board just it didn't flip right. He tries to reach down and salvage it, but bounces his hand off the bottom of the board, 43.25.
So it all comes down to one more run for Buster, and we talked about that getting in your head, so now the pressure's really on for him. Andy Mack, we haven't seen him jump up too much. This is gonna be the second to last chance for him. Seen a couple of 720s out of him. He went down on the 720 his last run. We'll see what he's got here in round number 4. And wow, when's the last time you seen Andy roll into a fall?
I don't think I've ever seen that.
I can't say that I have either.
So that run, what does that get him, about a 0?
I don't think you get any score for that. I mean, unless they're gonna give points for rolling in.
Those flip tricks, it doesn't take much for them to go wrong. He has one more run.
So he's down there in the low 80s. I can't recall the last time I've seen it. Oh, you get to 0. You don't make a trick, you get 0. So
I guess so.
That
Rolling,
may be the
rolling
first,
doesn't count for anything.
That may be the first 0 in Andy Mack's pro career. Alex Perelson, again, your eyes don't deceive you. His best run score, 36.75. And I mean, that look on his face says it all. His head is not in this whatsoever.
Well, this format is pretty much all or nothing. You do your best run ever or you fall trying. And that's what's happened to him so far. He gets past the kickflip lean melon, which is just an amazing trick. He's the only person doing that in his run, setting up again for a 720. I took him out earlier. And he just doesn't even get close to getting it all the way around.
See what I'm talking about? That look on his face before he rolled into the ramp says it all. Once it just starts to go south for him, he just throws in the towel and he can't pull himself out of that funk. Look at the front foot, and then he just lets go of the grab here.
I think it was all about the takeoff. He didn't get the spin he needed and couldn't finish the 720.
So 39.25. I think that's the best score he's had thus far, and you can see he is just completely flustered right now as he walks off the side of the ramp there. Danny Mayer, 90.25. He tried to build on that second run score, tried to do the kickflip McTwist again in round 3. Looked like he had it for the most part, just not enough rotation. Pressure is completely off for this guy. He is another guy who's in the driver's seat right now.
And I think we're gonna be looking to this kickflip McTwist. It's kind of all about the setup trick before. Because if he lands properly, he can get that kickflip McTwist around, and there he does it.
And again, even with the sketch, he still gets the backside 5 out of it and then loses the alley-oop kickflip.
And that's the result of just trying to force trick after trick. You see him get a little squirrely on the landing on the kickflip 5, and then the next wall was even sketchier, and it all caught up with him with the kickflip backside grab, and that's gonna do it for Danny Mayer.
Well, he's got one more run. He's still sitting in second place right now. Bucky Lasek, best run score of an 88.50. That was his first run score, and Bucky has not been able to improve thus far.
Rolling in again to the nollie kickflip Indy grab. I can't believe how consistent he is on such technical tricks, especially at that height. See him again, 360 Indy, Heel flip frontside gay twist. Looks like he's setting up again for a 720.
Which grab's it going to be this time
Mute
around?
grab.
Oh, I thought he had that one.
That one was looking close. He went back to the mute grab, but just looks like he's spinning a little bit too slow and coming up a little short on the 720, getting about a 700 out of it. And having no problem whatsoever with that heel flip frontside gay twist. But look at the rotation here. Just having to kind of kick turn in those last few degrees, and that is a scary position to be in. You don't want to slide out and over rotate because that can be disastrous.
Yeah, you end up with a bad case of whiplash and laying on your back on the flat bottom, wondering what just happened. Bucky so close on that one. So again, throwing this one out, sticking with that first run score. He's still in third place as of right now, but he's got one more shot at it. You see him looking at his board going, why? Why? Just 20 more degrees. Actually, not even 20 more degrees. He had that one. The back foot was just in a weird spot. Sandro Dias, fourth run, coming down the rolling here. He got 9 walls out of that last run. He wasn't able to put together the full 10 walls. And look at the height on that LU 360 varial.
And the judges are basically judging on a 10-point per wall basis. So you got to complete the 10 walls to get a decent score. And he's looking good. Huge mute grab 540, giant air to fakie.
We're going to see the Narjar attempt again. Here it comes.
Oh, and he jumps off again.
It didn't look like he had enough speed for that. That's a pretty gutsy deal right there to try to do a Narjar out of a gay twist body jar. He just didn't have enough momentum, but he went for it anyway.
I think to do the Narjar is going to be gutsy no matter what you're coming out of, and to do it after 9 walls, you're right. It's just, that's tough. And he had to jump off that one. Otherwise, he, could have had some serious problems.
Well, the difference between his falls and what we've seen out of Buster and Alex is he's right there. He's knocking on the door. He's getting 9 walls. It's not happening the first couple walls in. So Sandro in a little bit of a better place mentally than a couple of the other guys we've seen, and that's going to bring up PLG. You see, he looks almost angry at this point. He's had a couple of falls on the 720, something you don't typically see out of Pierre. One thing I haven't mentioned yet is that he went back and talked to the medical staff. He's got a bit of a crick in his neck, which is definitely affecting him. And then Pierre drops into a 360 flip and just...
Yeah, he is getting frustrated, but it's understandable to fall on tricks like 360 flip mutes first wall, especially knowing what's got to come after it. You have to land perfect, get speed out of it. He has one more run to go, though.
We're down to the 5th and final run. Will PLG walk away with his 2nd win in 2 years, or will we crown a new champion? We'll find out when we come back. The LG Action Sports World Championships have been brought to you by LG Life's Good. By John Paul Mitchell Systems. It's not just what you do, it's how good you look doing it. Paul Mitchell, style points count. By Xbox 360. And by ASA Entertainment. We are Action Sports. Visit asaentertainment.com. We're down to the wire. It is the 5th and final run here in Skateboard Vert Final. Last year's champ, PLG, currently sitting in the lead. Danny Mayer not too far behind him in 2nd place. It's the last chance for these guys to try to jump up into podium contention or to try to take the lead away from Pierre. And it's the last chance right now for Buster Halterman to try to shake the nerves away and put down a solid 10-wall run.
And I think the last thing Buster's thinking about right now is trying to beat Pierre or even worry about the podium. All he wants to do is stay on and sort of save face and go home knowing he did what he came to do. There you see him, he gets past those flip tricks, gets a little sketchy, but he's still on his board.
And right as you say that, he goes down, but I think he got 7, maybe 8 walls out of that, but he did get over the hump. He got past the kickflip varial.
He's still gonna be kicking himself on the flight home. There's the heel flip body varial. You see how frustrated he is that he just kicked it too hard. It floated away. There was no way he could reel that trick back in.
It was really a tough day overall for Buster. We talked about it before, even with 5 runs. After the first 2 runs go south, it's really hard to get your head back in the game, but we'll see him next year at the championships. Andy McDonald, 80.25. We saw his last run He rolled in first wall and bailed, which is something I personally have never seen Andy do in a pro competition. He needs to bump that score up.
He still has 2 solid runs under his belt. I wouldn't be surprised to see him put in a third. Coming out swinging with the varial 540 into the body varial 540. Super difficult combo. And there's the air to fakie setup for the 720, and he sticks it this time.
He was muscling that one around for the last bit of rotation. He put that one down at the last possible second. And this is going to be another full pull for Andy McDonald.
Whoa, and finishing with the nollie varial, heel flip, body varial. I think it's harder to say than it is for him to do. That was a great run. Let's see if he can improve on that 80.25 that he already has. There's the varial 540.
Watch where he puts this 720 down. He's underneath the coping. He just almost kick turns that one around.
He should be looking at a great score. Let's see what the judges think.
80.25 was his best run score, and he bumps up to an 84.75. So that is going to be his best score of the day. However, it's not going to have him leaving me with any hardware here tonight from the LG Action Sports World Championships. Danny Mayer still sitting in second place. Is he going to be walking away with a silver medal, or is he going to be able to add that kickflip McTwist and try to give Pierre a run for the money here in the last round?
Coming in looking solid, big kickflip Indy, followed up by the alley-oop kickflip mute. And I mean, setting up for a kickflip McTwist with an alley-oop flip mute is, that's a tall order. Unfortunately, it takes him out on his last run, and that is gonna do it for Danny Mayer.
And what a great season this guy's had. I mean, to put the kickflip McTwist into contest runs, it's something you typically see, that we did see out of him many times in the past at best trick events. You see the board not just getting around on that one, but still a 90.25. He's sitting in a silver medal spot right now, depending on what happens with our last couple of skaters. But what a great day for Danny Mayer. What a great year overall.
Yeah, he has to be happy about how he's done today.
So here you go, Bucky Lasek. You see that score, 88.50. That's what we saw to him in the first round. And he's had some falls. The 720's been giving him trouble, but he put it down the last run and almost had it. Will we see it here in the 5th and final run?
Well, it seems like he's dead set on sticking that 720. Whether it leaves him in last place or not, he doesn't care. He wants this 720.
Here we go.
See him trying it again. Oh, and he was looking great. I don't know why. I do not know why he did not land that one.
He puts that one down again in run number 4. His back foot, he was on the toe, on the tail of the board, and I'll have to see this in slow motion, but that one looked even better than the last one.
And everything just coming so easy for him leading up to it. But look, it seems like he had a good pop, spun it all the way around, just had to finish it off. Couldn't make it happen.
Just didn't have the rotation on that one. The one in run number 4 looked like he got around the full rotation. So tough break for Bucky Lasek. He's sitting in 3rd place as of right now with that first run score. We still have Sandro Dias left to skate, and of course PLG, Pierre, not really going to affect the outcome. He's already sitting in 1st place. So the only guy that can affect the podium right now is Sandro, who's sitting outside of it with a 78.25. Sandro's been on the cusp. He's knocking on the door these last 2 runs. He's gotten 9 walls in, but the Narjar, that's the 540 smack in the tail on the way in. That's the trick that's done him in runs 3 and 4. So 5th and final run as he comes down the roll-in.
And I've seen Sandro post some pretty big scores. I'm not sure that he could beat what Pierre's already laid down, but anything's possible. Look at the height. Huge 540s, alley-oop backside grab 540 into a heel flip Indy, just pointing it down. So much time in the air, he can do whatever he wants up there almost when things are going his way. And they seem to be going pretty well so far.
And the Narjar attempt, and he gets that one down, and that's his 10th wall. I said he was knocking on the door the last 2 runs.
Wow.
And here you go in run number 5, he puts it together.
Now, he didn't have the technical difficulty that Pierre's shown, but, I mean, you can't deny the height.
He got an 88.75. He just edged Bucky Lasek out. Bucky's in 4th now, and Sandro's got himself a bronze medal.
Nicely done. Look at the height of the alley-oop backside grab 540, and here's the nose grab 540 to tail. The Narjar just slapping that tail on the coping. Wow. What a way to finish.
Yeah, what a way to wrap up your run on your 10th wall with the Narjar, pulling it clean.
Sandro, 10 walls, Narjar at the end.
I'm happy, man, because I made all my other run that I was planning, and I did. It was good for me.
A little bit of pressure on you. Your last run, you were having trouble with that Narjar. Your last couple of runs came out and drilled it.
Oh, man, I know. It was pressure for me for sure, but I did. I'm happy now.
Awesome. Congrats, bud.
He should be happy because he's walking away with a bronze medal here at this event. He just bumped Bucky Lasek down to 4th place. That means one guy left to skate. It's a victory lap. He's already got the win, but he is not going to lay out. He's had some problems with his 2nd, 3rd, and 4th run. And look at this.
Yeah, he wants to get back in the groove, whether he needs to or not. Switch heel flip frontside 3. Looking really solid. Alley-oop kick flip mute and just adding height to every wall. Back-to-back 540s. There you saw the Indy grab and another one, frontside 540. Pierre is unstoppable. Nollie 360 Indy.
If he keeps it up, he's going to have a higher score than his winning run from round number 1, and there you go.
He is going to have a higher score, and that run is untouchable. Not that it needed to be. There's the nollie heel flip, Indy 360. And that's just a bonus move. Fakey shove it lip.
And all this with a guy that's either got a pinched nerve or some sort of crick in his neck. He went and saw the medical staff after his first run. It's definitely been bothering him, and he comes back and lays down the gauntlet. Look at that, 94.50. He jumped up 2 full points. All this on a victory lap, taking home his 3rd LG Action Sports World Championship title of Skateboard Vert. It was a pretty crazy competition overall, but Sandro Dias getting the job done on the 5th and final run. How about Danny Merritt? Can't say enough good things about that guy and his skating this year.
And his strategy is starting to pay off for him big time. Just coming in, playing it cool, and making it happen. And Pierre-Luc just cannot be stopped. He has been on a roll all year, keeps it going here. It's great to see.
Tough afternoon for Buster Halterman and Alex Perelson, but how about Sandro Dias coming in the 5th and final run and edging out Bucky Lasek for the bronze medal, Danny Merritt walking away with the silver, and PLG taking home his 3rd LG World title.
PLG, you're a great ambassador for skateboarding as a whole. You're in the public eye. What advice do you have to any kids out there that want to get involved in skateboarding?
Just enjoy what you're doing. Don't make it like a job. Do it. Skateboarding's got to be a passion. It's like an art form. It's a way to express yourself and be unique. Just do what you feel like doing. Come out with your own style and be creative. And make sure you're having fun doing it.
Well, congratulations on an amazing year. Can't wait to see 2009.
Thank you.
PLG, the LG Action Sports World Championships of Skateboard Vert in 2005, 2007, and now again in 2008. Congratulations to all 8 of our finalists as well as our podium finishers. That officially wraps it up for Skateboard Vert here in Seattle. For more information on upcoming shows as well as the athletes from this event, you can check out lgactionsports.com. I'm Jimmy Coleman on behalf of myself, Paul Zitzer, and Catfish. We thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.